Hello and welcome students in my video lecture series on the subject of botany. We are discussing the botany of class 11th and we are in the unit of morphology of angiosperms. In the previous lecture we have started discussing the various parts of a flower and we have discussed it in detail the calyx and corolla, the sepals and petals. Of this video lecture we will focus in detail on the androecium and gynoecium, that is and the female whorl of a flower, or the stamens and the carpels of a flower. First, we will focus on the androecium, the male whorl of a flower. We know that this androecium, it is male whorl of the flower. It is the reproductive whorl, male reproductive whorl of the flower. And this androecium is made up of units. Those units are called as stamens. हमारे पास stamens है. All stamens in a flower form a whorl. That whorl is the male whorl. That male whorl is called as androecium, and thus stamen represents the male unit of a flower. So stamen is a male flower unit of a flower. If you see the structure of a stamen, this is the structure of a stamen. In every stamen, we are having a filament and we are having an anther. We are having an anther. Filament is a long cetrile tube-like structure, or that is that tube-like structure. Simply, what is filament? It is the basal stalk like or tube like structure of a stamen. Stamen के stalk को हम filament बोलते हैं, leaf के stalk को हम petiole बोलते हैं, flower के stalk को हम pedicel बोलते हैं, इसी तरह stamen के stalk को हम बोलते हैं filament. So filament is the cetrile stalk of a stamen, and remember this stalk at the apex expands to form a structure that is called as anther. And remember, this anther is the fertile male part of the stamen. Remember, anther is the fertile male part of the stamen because it is this anther जिसके अंदर हमारे pollen grains बनते हैं. अगर आप देखोगे हर कोई anther जो है, हर किसी एंथर के अंदर, हर किसी स्टेमिन के अंदर जो एंथर है, इसके दो लोब्स होते हैं. एक लोब 1 होता है, एक लोब 2 होता है. ये लोब 1 है, एक साइड है, ये लोब 2 है. These two lobes are separated by a structure. That structure is called as connective. This connective is actually an extension of filament that passes through the center. Remember, हर किसी एंथर के अंदर दो लोब्स होते हैं. ये दो लोब एक दूसरे से सेपरेट होते हैं by extension of the filament. That extension of the filament is called as connective. So simply, connective is a cetrile tissue, cetrile extended structure of the filament that separates the two lobes of an anther. याद रखना, connective जो है ये एक cetrile extended part of filament है जो एंथर के दो लोब्स को सेपरेट करता है. हर किसी एंथर के अंदर दो लोब्स है और हर किसी लोब के अंदर, अगर हम इस हर किसी लोब का स्ट्रक्चर देखेंगे, हर किसी लोब के अंदर, ये मेरे पास लोब 1 है, हर किसी लोब के अंदर दो पोलन सैक्स मिलेंगे. दिस इज पोलन सैक 1, दिस इज पोलन सैक 2. या हर किसी एंथर लोब के अंदर आपको पोलन चैम्बर्स या पोलन सैक्स मिलेंगे. एक थैले जैसे मिलेंगे, स्ट्रक्चर्स मिलेंगे जिनका नंबर 2 होगा. यानी लोब 1 में आपको 2 थैले मिलेंगे, 2 पोलन चैम्बर्स मिलेंगे, 2 पोलन सैक्स मिलेंगे, और इसी तरह लोब 2 के अंदर भी आपको 2 पोलन सैक्स या 2 पोलन चैम्बर्स आपको मिलेंगे. इस तरह जो है ये हमारा जो ये पोलन ग्रेन है, हमारा जो एंथर जो है, हमारा एंथर जो है ये असल में टेट्रास्पोरेंजिएट है. इसमें 4 माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया, हर किसी पोलन सैक का टेक्निकल नेम माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया. दिस इज 1 माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया, दिस इज 2nd माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया, दिस इज 3rd माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया, दिस इज 4th माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया. माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया एक ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर होता है जिसमें माइक्रोस्पोर्स बनते हैं. माइक्रोस्पोर्स का दूसरा नाम पोलन ग्रेन्स है. तो याद रखना है, स्टेमन जो है इट्स मेल यूनिट ऑफ द फ्लावर, and every stamen has two parts. One is filament. This filament is the stalk of the stamen and it is cetrile. Then at the apex of this filament there is an expanded swollen region that is called as anther. This every anther bears 2 lobes. We are having lobe 1, we are having lobe 2, and in each lobe of the anther there are 2 sac-like structures. Those sacs are called as pollen sacs, or they are called as pollen chambers, or they are called as microsporangia. इन्हीं सैक्स के अंदर, पोलन सैक्स के अंदर हमारे पोलन ग्रेन्स बनते हैं. शाबाश, पोलन सैक्स आर द स्ट्रक्चर्स वेयर पोलन ग्रेन्स आर प्रोड्यूस्ड इनसाइड द एंथर. सो मैंने यहीं पे लिखा, स्टेमन्स जो है ये मेल यूनिट्स ऑफ फ्लावर है. हर किसी फिलामेंट के अंदर, हर किसी स्टेमन के अंदर 2 पार्ट्स होते हैं. एक फिलामेंट होता है, एक एंथर होता है. एंथर इज द फर्टाइल पार्ट ऑफ द स्टेमन. फिलामेंट इज द स्ट्राइल पार्ट ऑफ द स्टेमिन। हर किसी एंथर के अंदर आपको दो लोब्स मिलेंगे। दोज टू लोब्स आर सेपरेटेड बाय ए कनेक्टिव। कनेक्टिव इज सिंपली स्ट्राइल एक्सटेंशन ऑफ फिलामेंट। और हर किसी लोब में आपको दो पोलन सैक्स नजर आएंगे। ये आपने याद रखना है। शाबाश, आगे बढ़ेंगे। ये जो स्टेमिनस जो है, स्टेमिनस में बी या स्टेमिनस कैन बी फ्यूज्ड विद सेपलस यानी कैलेक्स, और staminus can be fused with what is called as perianth, that is tapulus, or we ever write these tapulus की जो whorl है, that whorl is called as perianth. मैंने आपको कल बताया, if in a flower you are not able to differentiate between the sepal and a petal, if in a flower you are not able to differentiate between the sepal and a petal, such then we called it as a perianth, and each unit of that perianth is called as tepal. So these staminus, they show fusion. They sometimes show fusion with sepalus, or they show fusion with tepalus, or they show fusion with calyx, or they show fusion with what is called as perianth. If staminus show fusion with sepalus or calyx, we say that such a condition of staminus is known as such a condition of staminus is known as not with sepalus but with petals or corolla. It means that staminus जो है ये कभी कभार फ्यूज होते हैं पेटल्स के साथ यानी करोला के साथ, ये कभी कभार फ्यूज होते हैं टेपल्स के साथ या पेरियांथ के साथ. जब staminus when show fusion with petals or corolla, we such staminus are known as epipetalous staminus. And epipetalous staminus has been reported in a plant. That plant is called as brinjal. ब्रिंजल के अंदर आपको एपिपेटलस कंडीशन मिलेगी. एपिपेटलस कंडीशन क्या होती है कि आपके स्टेमिनस जो है, आपके जो मेल यूनिट्स है, दे रिमेन फ्यूज्ड विद द पेटल्स, दे रिमेन फ्यूज्ड विद द कोरोला पार्ट ऑफ द फ्लावर. सच ए कंडीशन ऑफ स्टेमिनस इज कॉल्ड एज epipetalous condition. Remember, if staminus are fused with petals or corolla part of the flower, we say that staminus show epipetalous. We say that such staminus are called as, or we call them as epipetalous staminus. Epipetalous staminus has been reported in brinjal. Similarly, if staminus show fusion with tepals or perianth, we make use of the term that is called as epiphyllous staminus. They are called as epiphyllous staminus. And I told you that this perianth tepal is present in case of lily. So epiphyllous condition is also present in case of lilies. Remember, मैंने आपको बताया कि हमारे पास एंड्रोशियम होता है. एंड्रोशियम मेल वर्ल ऑफ फ्लावर है. एंड्रोशियम बना है स्टेमिनस का. हर किसी स्टेमिन में दो पार्ट होते हैं, एक फिलामेंट होता है, एक एंथर होता है. हर किसी एंथर के दो लोब्स होते हैं. हर किसी एंथर लोब के अंदर दो पोलन सैक्स है. हर किसी पोलन सैक के अंदर पोलन ग्रेन्स बनते हैं. ये मैंने आपको बताया. मैंने आपको उसके बाद बताया इस तरह हमारे पास एक स्टेमिन के अंदर, एक एंथर के अंदर 4 पोलन सैक्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं. मैंने आपको बताया ये जो स्टेमिनस जो है, दे शो फ्यूजन आइदर विद पेटल्स और करोला, और दे शो फ्यूजन विद टेपल्स in case of perianth. If staminus are fused with petals or corolla, such staminus are known as epipetalous staminus. Epipetalous staminus have been reported in brinjal. If staminus show fusion with tepals or perianth, such staminus are known as epiphyllous staminus. And this presence of perianth is characteristic feature of lily. So epiphyllous staminus are present in this very plant that is called as lily. So this staminus जो है, staminus can be fused in bundles. Staminus can be fused in bundles. यानी आपके पास staminus है, they can be fused in bundles they can be, or they start, we will go proceed like this. Stamens can be free in a flower or they can be fused. एक फ्लावर के अंदर मैंने आपको बोला जो स्टेमन्स है वो बाकी पार्ट्स के साथ भी जुड़े होते हैं. अगर वो पेटल्स के साथ जुड़े हैं एपिपेटलस कंडीशन हम बोलेंगे. अगर हम टेपल्स के साथ जुड़े हैं एपिफाइलस कंडीशन हम बोलेंगे. दूसरा मैंने बोला एक फ्लावर के अंदर जो स्टेमन्स है या तो वो अलग थलग है, फ्री है. वी मेक यूज ऑफ द टर्म पॉलिएंड्रस. पॉलिएंड्रस, पॉलिएंड्रस flowers, polyandrous flowers or polyandrous stamens. We say that polyandrous stamens. Polyandrous stamens are those stamens, or polyandrous flowers are those flowers in which the stamens are free from one another. If sometimes the stamens they can be fused. They can be fused. They can be fused in one bundle. One bundle, they can be fused in two bundles, or they can be fused in three bundles, or more than two bundles, greater than two bundles. एक फ्लावर के अंदर जितने भी स्टेमन है, 6 स्टेमन है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, all those stamens are united in a single bundle. एक फ्लावर के अंदर 6 स्टेमन्स है. Those stamens are united together in 2 bundles. एक फ्लावर के अंदर 6 stamens है. All those stamens are united together. They form 3 bundles. If stamens are fused, we make use of the term adelphus. If they are fused in one bundle, we say that we make use of the term monoadelphus. Monoadelphus condition. And if they are united in 2, we make use of word diadelphus. Adelphus. If they are united in 3 bundles, we make use of more than 2 bundles, then we make use of the term polyadelphus. Adelphus condition. Remember, एक फ्लावर के अंदर स्टेमन्स जो है ये या तो फ्री होंगे, पॉलिएंड्रस कंडीशन होगी, या तो ये एक दूसरे के साथ जुड़े होंगे, फ्यूज्ड होंगे. अगर ये फ्यूज्ड होंगे एक बंडल के अंदर, we make use of the term monoadelphus. We say that monoadelphus condition of stamens. अगर ये fused होंगे 2 bundles में, we make use of the term diadelphus condition. अगर ये fuse होंगे more than 2 bundles में, तब हम use करते हैं term polyadelphus condition. So remember, stamens can be monoadelphus when they are present in a single bundle. When they form a single bundle, when all the stamens of a flower are united to form a single bundle, we say that they are monoadelphus. Stamens can show diadelphous arrangement, which means that when all the stamens of a flower are united in 2 bundles, when all the flowers of a flower all the stamens of a flower are united in more than 2 bundles, we say that this is the polyadelphous condition of the stamens. And remember, monoadelphous condition is the characteristic feature of family Malvaceae. मैंने आपको बताया चाइना रोज की हम बात करेंगे, लेडी फिंगर की हम बात करेंगे, कॉटन की आप बात करेंगे, वहां पे आपको मोनोएडल्फस कंडीशन देखने को मिलेगी. पी के अंदर, पी प्लांट के अंदर, मटर प्लांट के अंदर आपको डायएडल्फस कंडीशन मिलेगी. और जो है साइट्रस प्लांट जो है, लेमन का प्लांट या ऑरेंज का प्लांट जो है, वहां आपको मिलेगी पॉलीएडल्फस कंडीशन. फिर से मैं दोहराता हूं, all the stamens in a flower can be free from one another. Such a condition of stamens where stamens are free from one another, they are not fused. Such a condition of stamens is known as polyandrous condition. If stamens are fused, these stamens may form one bundle, they may form 2 bundles, or they may be united in more than 2 bundles. If the stamens, all the stamens of a flower form a single bundle, then we say that this is monoadelphous condition. If they form 2 bundles, then we say that it is diadelphous condition. And if they form more than 2 bundles, then we say that it is polyadelphous condition. And remember, monoadelphous condition is called as, is present in China rose. Diadelphous condition is present in what is called as pea plant. Polyadelphous condition is present in citrus plant. The length of stamens may vary in different plants. The length of stamens in a flower may vary. For example, the length of, I will write like this, the length of stamens stamens in a flower varies. For example, on the basis of this, we are having two conditions. One is we are having didynamous condition. What is this dynamous condition? Then we are having tetradynamous condition. What is this didynamous condition? Didynamous condition is also called as 2 plus 2 condition, and tetradynamous condition is also called as 2 plus 4 condition. For example, didynamous condition में एक प्लांट की बात करूंगा. उस प्लांट का नाम है तुलसी. This tulsi belongs to a family, that is family is called as Lamiaceae. Lamiaceae family में आपको 4 stamens मिलेंगे टोटल. 4 stamens. हर किसी फ्लावर में आपको तुलसी के अंदर, लैमिएसी के अंदर 4 स्टेमिन्स मिलेंगे. इन 4 स्टेमिन्स में आप क्या देखोगे? ये एक स्टेमिन है, दिस इज 1 स्टेमिन, दिस इज अनदर स्टेमिन, दिस इज 3rd स्टेमिन एंड दिस इज 4th स्टेमिन. व्हाट यू आर सीइंग हियर इज दैट ये एक स्टेमिन है, ये एक स्टेमिन है, ये एक स्टेमिन है, ये दूसरा स्टेमिन है, ये तीसरा स्टेमिन है, ये चौथा स्टेमिन है. आपको क्या दिख रहा है? 2 स्टेमिन्स, 2 आउटर स्टेमिन्स आर शॉर्ट, 2 इनर स्टेमिन्स आर लॉन्ग. सो मैंने असल में पॉइंट रेज किया था, द लेंथ ऑफ स्टेमिन्स इन अ फ्लावर वेरीज. एक ही फ्लावर के अंदर आपके स्टेमिन्स है और उन स्टेमिन्स की लेंथ डिफरेंट है. कुछ स्टेमिन्स की लेंथ ज्यादा है, दे आर लॉन्ग इन साइज, सम स्टेमिन्स आर शॉर्टर इन साइज. सो ऑन दैट वेरी बेसिस वी आर हैविंग 2 टाइप्स ऑफ कंडीशंस ऑफ स्टेमिन्स on the basis of their length in a flower. We are having didynamous condition, that is 2 plus 2 condition. I told you that this didynamous condition is present in a plant. That plant is called as tulsi. This tulsi belongs to the family Lamiaceae, and we are in this family Lamiaceae in tulsi plant. We are having in total there are 4 stamens. Out of these 4 stamens, 2 are short and 2 are long. This the condition where in a flower you are having 2 long flowers and 2 short flowers. This is called as didynamous condition. That is why I have written here 2 plus 2. 2 long stamens, 2 short stamens. 2 outer stamens short, 2 inner stamens long. This is, what is called as, didynamous condition. Then second is we are having tetradynamous condition. In this tetradynamous condition is reported in family Brassicaceae. This is reported in family Brassicaceae और Brassica. मस्टर्ड में ये देखने को मिलेगा. इस फैमिली के अंदर ब्रासिकेसी के अंदर आपको टोटल मिलेंगे 6 स्टेमिन्स. you are having a total of 6 stamens. Out of these 2 are short, 2 stamens are short, 2 short, 4 long. 2 छोटे 4 लंबे. ये देखिए यहां पे मैं इस तरह बनाता हूं, ये देखिए 3 और 4 हो गए. ये देखिए 4 जो है ये लंबे हैं, 4 लॉन्ग एंड 2 ऑन द आउटर साइड, they are short. This is called as tetradynamous condition. So the condition in which the length of stamens in a flower varies to the point that we are having 2 short stamens and 4 long stamens. This is called as tetradynamous condition. This is very important point from NEET point of view, that didynamous condition has been reported in tulsi. It belongs to family Lamiaceae. In didynamous condition we are having total of 4 stamens. Out of those 4 stamens, 2 are long and 2 are short. In tetradynamous condition has been reported in family Brassicaceae or mustard family or mustard plant, and in total we are having 6 stamens. Out of these 6 stamens, 4 inner are long and 2 outer stamens are short. That is why this tetradynamous condition is called as 2 plus 4, where 2 outer are long and four inner are short. Four inner are, two outer are short. Sorry, two outer are short, while as four inner are long. चार लंबे जो अंदर वाली तरफ होते हैं, चार लंबे होते हैं, दो छोटे होते हैं. This is called as tetradynamous condition. So this was all about what is called as androecium, the male whorl of a flower. The male whorl of a flower. Then we will focus on the female whorl of a flower. That is gynoecium. Gynoecium. This is female whorl. Female whorl of a flower. And each gynoecium is made up of units. Those units are known as carpels or pistils. So carpels or pistils are the female units. They are the female units of a flower. If you see the structure of a carpel or a pistil, I have shown you. I have taught you this in previous lecture. That is, we are having a basal swollen region. That basal swollen region of the carpel is known as ovary. Then we are having a long tube-like structure that connects ovary with a palate-like structure that is known as style. The terminal expanded receptive flat structure is known as a stigma. So stigma is the site where pollen grains land during the process of pollination. Through these pollen grains germinate, they produce pollen tube. That pollen tube passes through the style and enters into the ovary. On the inner wall of this ovary, this is the inner wall, a mound-like structure are produced. That mound-like structure is called as placenta. Remember, placenta. On inner wall, a placenta is produced. A mound-like structure develops on the inner wall of the ovary, that is called as placenta. So remember, हर किसी कार्पल के तीन पार्ट है. एक ओवरी है, प्लस एक हमारे पास स्टाइल है, प्लस एक हमारे पास स्टिग्मा है. शाबाश, स्टिग्मा है. एक फ्लावर के अंदर एक कार्पल हो सकता है, दो कार्पल हो सकता है, तीन कार्पल हो सकते हैं, दो हो सकते हैं, तीन हो सकते हैं, ग्रेटर देन 3 कार्पल्स हो सकते हैं. एक फ्लावर के अंदर एक या एक से ज्यादा कार्पल या पिस्टल हो सकते हैं. अगर एक फ्लावर के अंदर एक ही कार्पल है, हम बोलते हैं ऐसे फ्लावर को दिस इज मोनोकार्पलरी फ्लावर. अगर एक से ज्यादा, तब हम अगर दो होंगे तो डाई कार्पलरी या बाई कार्पलरी फ्लावर, कार्पलरी. इसी तरह हम ट्राई कार्पलरी वर्ड यूज करते हैं. अगर 3 से ज्यादा हो तो मल्टी कार्पलरी फ्लावर. शाबाश, मैंने आपको बताया gynoecium is the female whorl of a flower. Gynoecium, the female whorl, is made up of units. Those units are called as carpels or pistils. So carpel or pistil represents the female unit of a flower. And remember, in each carpel or pistil there are 3 parts. One is the basal swollen part, that is called as ovary. Then there is a tube-like structure that is known as style. This tube-like structure connects the terminal part, the stigma, with the ovary. And the stigma is the terminal expanded disc-shaped structure that acts as a landing site for the pollen grains. This is called as stigma. मैंने आपको बोला एक फ्लावर के अंदर एक कार्पल हो सकता है, मोनोकार्पलरी हम बोलेंगे. एक से ज्यादा कार्पल्स हो सकते हैं. अगर 2 कार्पल्स है डाई कार्पलरी, अगर 3 कार्पल्स है ट्राई कार्पलरी, अगर 3 से ज्यादा है तो मल्टी कार्पलरी कंडीशंस हो सकते हैं. अगर एक फ्लावर के अंदर एक से ज्यादा कार्पल्स होंगे, if more than 1 carpel is present in a flower, they may be fused. ये fused हो, they may be free or they may be fused. Remember, जिस तरह मैंने बोला सेपल्स फ्यूज हो सकते हैं या फ्री हो सकते हैं, पेटल्स फ्यूज हो सकते हैं या फ्री हो सकते हैं. अगर वहां हमने यूज किया पॉलीसेप्लस गैमोसेप्लस, पॉलीपेटलस गैमोसेप्लस, यहाँ पे हमने बोला पॉलीएंड्रस, मोनोएडल्फस, डायएडल्फस, पॉलीएडल्फस. इसी तरह एक फ्लावर के अंदर अगर एक से ज्यादा कार्पल्स होंगे, पिस्टल्स होंगे, ये सारे कार्पल्स या तो फ्री होंगे, अलग थलग होंगे, या तो ये फ्यूज होंगे. अगर ये फ्री होंगे देन such carpels are known as, then they are called as apocarpus. Apocarpus. Apocarpus condition is the condition where there are more than one carpel in a flower and those carpels are free from one another. They are not fused. Example is apocarpus condition is present in lotus. Lotus, it is present in rose. Remember, the examples are very important. So apocarpus condition is present in rose. Apocarpus condition is present in lotus. Then if in a flower there are more than one carpel but those carpels are fused, such carpels are called as syncarpus. Syncarpus condition, the condition of a flower where there are more than one carpels and all those carpels are fused with one another, this is called as syncarpus. Syncarpus condition is present in mustard. Syncarpus condition is present in tomato. So I will repeat this point again. If more than one carpel is present in a flower, अगर एक फ्लावर के अंदर एक से ज्यादा कार्पल्स प्रेजेंट होंगे, ये कार्पल्स या तो फ्री होंगे, अलग थलग होंगे, किसी एक कार्पल का दूसरे कार्पल से कोई रिलेशन नहीं होगा, फ्री होंगे, then we say that we make use of the term apocarpus. Apocarpus means a flower having more than one carpel but those carpels are free from one another. This has been reported in lotus and rose. If in a flower there are more than one carpels but those carpels are fused with one another, we make use of the term syncarpus. This syncarpus condition is reported in mustard and tomato. Remember, mustard and tomato are the plants where there are more than one carpels but those carpels always remain fused with one another. They remain fused with one another. Shabash, this was about syncarpus and apocarpus condition. I told you that on the inner wall of ovary, ये देखिए मैं यहाँ पे एक बड़ा सा ओवरी का स्ट्रक्चर बनाऊंगा. दिस इज ओवरी, दिस इज ओवरी, दिस इज द इनर मोस्ट वॉल. चलो ये आउटर मोस्ट वॉल मानते हैं. दिस इज द इनर मोस्ट वॉल ऑफ द ओवरी. दिस इज द इनर मोस्ट वॉल ऑफ द ओवरी. On this innermost wall, a mound-like structure is produced. That mound-like structure is called as placenta. This is called as placenta. Remember, on the inner wall of ovary, a mound-like. तो ये मैंने लिखा on the inner wall of ovary, a mound, M-O-U-N-D, mound-like structure is produced that bears. इसके ऊपर क्या लगते हैं? That bears ovules. इसके ऊपर ovules लगते हैं. This structure, this is known as, इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? This is known as placenta. Placenta. तो placenta के ऊपर क्या लगते हैं? Ovules लगते हैं. This is placenta. Placenta. Placenta is a mound-like structure developed on the inner wall of the ovary. This is placenta. This is placenta. This is placenta. On each placenta, a special structure known as ovule will be produced. Ovule will be produced. So remember, inside the ovary, on the inner wall of the ovary, a mound-like structure is produced. That mound-like structure is known as placenta. On this placenta, a very unique and special structure is produced. That unique structure is called as ovule. So मैंने लिखा on the wall of ovary, a mound-like structure is produced. That bears ovules. This mound-like structure is known as placenta. The placenta, the arrangement of ovules, the arrangement of ovules inside the ovary is known as placentation. The arrangement of ovules inside the ovary is known as placentation. The arrangement of leaves is known as phyllotaxy. The arrangement of flowers is known as inflorescence. The arrangement of sepals and petals, this is known as estivation. The arrangement of ovules, remember inside the ovary, this is known as placentation. Shabash, there are 5 different types of placentations. 5 different types of placentations. Different types of placentation. There are 5 different types of placentation. One is we are having marginal placentation. Second, we are having axial placentation. Third, or axial placentation. Third, we are having parietal placentation. Fourth, we are having what is called as free central placentation. Then fifth, we are having basal placentation. We will study one by one all these placentation types along with their diagrams and representative examples. These are again very, very important point. So types of placentations I will write here. Types of placentations. मैं यहां पे आपको एक मटर की डायग्राम बनाऊंगा, एक बीन की डायग्राम बनाऊंगा, इस तरह होती है. शाबाश. This is the dorsal side. This is the ventral side. Shabash. The type of placentation where the ventral surface, your ventral side of the ovule bears a ridge-like structure. Ventral ridge. This is ventral suture. Ventral suture develops a ridge-like structure. और दिस इज वेंट्रल साइड. इस तरह आप समझ लीजिए, ये डॉर्सल साइड है, ये वेंट्रल साइड है. वेंट्रल साइड में आप क्या देखोगे, इस तरह द वेंट्रल सरफेस ऑफ द ओवरी बियर्स ए ridge like structure, or the placenta forms a ridge like structure on the ventral surface, and this ridge bears the ovules. This type of placentation is known as marginal placentation. This is marginal placentation. This has been reported in P. Shabash. The type of placentation where the ventral suture of the ovule of the ovary, this is the ventral suture of the ovary. Shabash. The type of placentation where the ventral suture of the ovary forms a ridge-like structure, and this ridge bears the ovules in two rows. Rows is known as, this is called as marginal placentation. तो याद रखना, मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन ऐसी प्लेसेंटेशन होती है जिसमें ओवरी का जो वेंट्रल स्यूचर होता है, वेंट्रल जो स्यूचर होता है, बाइफर्केशन होता है, वेंट्रल साइड पे एक बाइफर्केशन होती है, एक सेपरेशन होती है, उसको बोलते हैं वेंट्रल स्यूचर. उस वेंट्रल स्यूचर के ऊपर एक रिज लाइक स्ट्रक्चर बनता है, उसी रिज के ऊपर हमारे ओव्यूल्स लगते हैं. तो ऐसी प्लेसेंटेशन को हम बोलते हैं मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन. एंड रिमेंबर, मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन इज प्रेजेंट इन केस ऑफ पी प्लांट. तो मैंने यहां पे लिखा, दिस इज डॉर्सल side of the ovary, this is ventral side of the ovary. Ventral side of the ovary bears a ridge-like structure, bears a suture. It bears a bifurcation. This suture bears a ridge-like structure. On this ridge, ovules are born. On this ridge, placenta are born. On that placenta, ovules are produced. Shabash. This type of placentation is called as मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन. सो ऐसी प्लेसेंटेशन जिसमें ओवरी का जो वेंट्रल स्यूचर है उसके ऊपर रिज लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स बनेंगे, उसी रिज लाइक स्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर हमारे ओव्यूल्स लगेंगे. इसको हम बोलते हैं मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन. एंड द प्रेजेंस ऑफ मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन इज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर ऑफ पी प्लांट. याद रखना, पी प्लांट में मार्जिनल प्लेसेंटेशन होती है. शाबाश. दूसरी जो है हमारे पास है एक्साइल प्लेसेंटेशन. एक्साइल प्लेसेंटेशन इस तरह आप देखिए, दिस इज ओवरी, this is ovary, and there are many chambers in the ovary, multilocular. This is chamber number 1. ये ovary है, ovary के this is chamber 1, C1, this is chamber 2, and this is chamber 3. ये सारी असल में क्या है, ये ovary का स्ट्रक्चर मैंने बनाया, इस ovary में chambers है. ovary के chambers को हम बोलते हैं, the chambers of ovary are called as locules. They are called as locules. Remember, ओवरी में अगर चैम्बर्स होंगे उन चैम्बर्स को हम locules बोलते हैं. The type of placentation where the ovary is multilocular, having more than one locular, and each locule bears the ovules at the center. This is called as axial placentation. Remember, axial placentation. This is ovule in this chamber. This is ovule in this chamber. And this is ovule in this chamber. So the type of placentation shabash, where ovary is multilocular, and each locule of ovary bears ovules at the center. This is known as axial placentation. याद रखना, axial placentation में ovary कंडीशन होनी चाहिए. कंडीशन है कि ovary is always multilocular and the ovules are born at the central mound in each locule. The examples of plants where axial placentation is present, this is China rose. में axial placentation मिलेगी. कुकुम्बर में, टोमेटो में आपको मिलेगी. लेमन में आपको axial placentation मिलेगी. तो याद रखना, ऐसी प्लेसेंटेशन जिसमें ओवरी जो है वो मल्टीलॉक्यूलर है और हर किसी ओवरी के लॉक्यूल के सेंटर में एक ओव्यूल प्रोड्यूस होगा, बनेगा, लगेगा, उसको हम बोलते हैं एक्साइल प्लेसेंटेशन. एक्साइल प्लेसेंटेशन चाइना रोज में देखने को मिलती है, ये टोमेटो प्लांट के अंदर देखने को मिलती है, ये लेमन प्लांट के अंदर देखने को मिलती है. इस तरह हमारे पास तीसरी प्लेसेंटेशन जो है वो पैराइटल प्लेसेंटेशन है. आप देखिए, ये हमारे पास ओवरी है, यूनिलॉक्यूलर, मल्टीलॉक्यूलर नहीं है. आप देखिए यहां पे मार्जिन्स पे हमारे पास ओव्यूल्स बन गए. The type of placentation where ovules are born on the periphery, outer margins, that is the periphery of the ovary, wall of the ovary, or the type of placentation where the ovules are born on peripheral wall of the ovary is known as parietal, what is called as parietal placentation. Remember, मैं यहां पे लिखूंगा the type of placentation, शाबाश, in which ovules are born on peripheral walls of ovary is known as parietal placentation. This is called as parietal placentation. इसको हम बोलते हैं parietal placentation. Peripheral, ये ovary का जो wall है, this is the wall of the ovary. This is the peripheral wall of the ovary, and on this peripheral wall ovules are produced. All these are ovules. These are ovules. ये जो सारे जो है, all these are ovules. शाबाश. ये ovules are born on the peripheral wall of the ovary. Such a placentation is known as parietal placentation. And remember, the most important point about this peripheral placentation is that initially it is unilocular. Initially इसमें कोई locule नहीं है, एक ही locule है, but later on it becomes bilocular due to formation of a thallus septum. Due to formation of a thallus septum, that thallus septum is known as rhapulum. Remember, मैंने आपको बोला पैराइटल प्लेसेंटेशन में असल में जो ओवरी होती है वो यूनिलॉक्यूलर होती है, बट दिस ओवरी इन पैराइटल प्लेसेंटेशन बिकम्स बाइलॉक्यूलर. इसमें दो लॉक्यूल्स बनते हैं ड्यू टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ए सेप्टम, फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ए क्रॉस वॉल. दैट सेप्टम इज नॉट ए ट्रू सेप्टम, इट इज ए फॉल्स सेप्टम. This false septum is known as rhapulum. And remember, parietal placentation is present in mustard plant and it is present in argemone plant. Argemone. These are the two plants where parietal placentation is present, where false septum is produced. And that false septum is known as rhapulum. This is again very important point from entrance point of view, that in case of parietal placentation, we in fact have what is called as a unilocular ovary, but due to the formation of a false septum, that is called as rhapulum, the ovary becomes bilocular or dilocular or bilocular. Then we are having third type of placentation, that is called as precentral placentation. Precentral placentation, again in precentral placentation, the ovary is unilocular. This is ovary, this is ovary. And remember, this is ovary, this is ovary, this is a unilocular ovary. At the center of ovary, a mound-like structure develops. On this mound, we are having what is called ovules are produced. So this is precentral placentation. Precentral placentation. Placentation. This is precentral placentation. This is precentral placentation. This is precentral placentation. The type of placentation in which the ovary is unilocular, एक ही locule होता है, एक ही chamber होता है, and ovules are born on a central mound. And remember, this has been reported in example of precentral placentation is dianthus is a plant in which precentral placentation, and primrose. Primrose is a plant where precentral placentation is present. Remember, in case of precentral placentation, the ovary is unilocular. There is a single chamber in ovary, and at the center of this ovary there is a mound of tissue. On this mound of tissue there is this placenta. On this mound of tissue known as placenta, ovules are directly born. So this is called as precentral placentation. There is something common between precentral placentation as well as the axial placentation. In case of precentral placentation and axial placentation, the ovules are born on a central mound, but in case of axial placentation, the ovary is multilocular. But in case of precentral placentation, the ovary is always unilocular. And we are left with the last type of placentation. That last type of placentation is known as basal placentation. Basal placentation. And remember, in basal type of placentation, for example, this is an ovary. This is an ovary. ये एक ओवरी है. इस ओवरी के अंदर आपको एक ही ओव्यूल देखने को मिलेगा. Only one ovule is produced on this ovary. एक ही ओव्यूल बनेगा. This is ovule, and this is ovary. This is ovary. This is the base of ovary. Base of ovary. Shabash. Basal placentation. The type of placentation. The type of placentation in which a single ovule is produced on the basal side of the ovary. Basal side of the ovary, of the ovary is known as basal placentation. इसको हम बोलते हैं basal placentation. जब एक ही एव्यूल ओवरी के बेस पे बनेगा इसको हम बोलते हैं basal placentation. And remember, basal placentation is present in marigold plant में देखने को मिलेगा, sunflower plant में देखने को मिलेगा. So there are 5 types of placentation. Remember, placentation is the arrangement of ovules inside the ovary. There are 5 types of placentation. One is we are having the marginal placentation, then we are having precentral placentation, then we are having what is called as parietal placentation. The type of placentation where a false septum known as raflum is produced. Then we are having precentral placentation, and then we are having basal placentation. And remember, marginal placentation is present in pea plant, while as axial placentation is present in China rose, tomato and lemon plant. Parietal placentation is present in mustard plant and argemone plant. Precentral placentation is present in dianthus and primrose plant, while as basal placentation is present in marigold and sunflower plant. I hope that you have understood all the points which I have highlighted in today's lecture, and please feel free to ask me queries, put queries to me on my WhatsApp number, that is 78896566100. In next lecture, we will focus on the fruit and the seed. We will focus on the structure of dicot and the monocot seed. I thank you for watching this video lecture. Thank you.